your belly's going to stick out. And maybe in the little sketch there, you see parts of those postures that you actually wear yourself. So the objective of our lecture here today is to demonstrate how you can decompress the joint lines to regain lost height and to flatten the abdominal wall without abdominal worries. So whoever can sit with both feet flat, the crown of the head to the ceiling, with both hips evenly weighted throughout the entire lecture, without their arms crossed, without their hip forward, without their head on crooked, will win a prize. It's a fascial integration technique or session with me. It'll take about an hour and a half, so come to my studio. Cellulite in the protruding belly. All cellulite is your fat is covered in fascia. And the bottom layer of the skin has fascial sling, and they don't glide. They don't glide, they're stuck. And so, yes, the cells are toxic because you've eaten too many deep-fried donuts and a lot of preservatives. But if the skin were gliding, it wouldn't show up as much. So it's a dehydrated fascia, everything is stuck together, and the circulation isn't enough to pull it apart. Okay, so you have to have healthy fascia to get rid of that cellulite. Here's a demonstration. Everybody cross their arms. So you get a pass on our contest. Are you a right over left or a left over right? Now I want you to switch that. Whatever you are, do the opposite. Okay, one side feels more comfortable than the other side. Is that correct? That's your fascia. That is not a muscular programming. That's your fascia, since you were a little tyke, said, I like to do it this way. And that's the pattern that's in there. And unless you actively try and undo that pattern, it would never change. Posture habits enhance and detract from height and waistline. And I say posture because we spend most of our time in posture not working out. You work out for an hour a day, maybe for the zealot 2 hours a day, but you spend 18 or 16 hours a day standing or sitting in posture. So how you stand and how you sit, and you're all sitting nice, I see, with feet flat, crown of the head to the ceiling, is how healthy and how tall and how flat your gut will be. So here's some examples. We have the forward chin. So if that chin is forward, that's fascially held there, there's nowhere else for the shoulders to go but here. I don't care how many abdominals you do with that posture, it's not going anywhere until you decompress the low spine and decompress the neck spine, the cervical spine. Then when those are decompressed fascially with your fascial stretching, then the belly will go in. Okay, this is a scoliosis. So I didn't set out to correct the scoliosis. That is a congenital thing, but we did correct it by, I think, 7 degrees through the cervical spine. So we went to his neck. Can you see how his head's on crooked? Because it's compensating for the curve that's going to the left. So he puts his head on crooked. I didn't touch his scoliosis. I released the compression in the neck spine. His head went on straight and the scoliosis shifted over. Then I could work his abdominal wall. Okay, so decompress the spine and then retract and train the tissue. Bow-legged, I see a lot of that. And that's tension on the lateral side, right? And a lot of sloppiness on the inside. Don't start training this and putting all kinds of weight training here. Release the tension on the side so that femur, this bone, can shift over in the pelvis, and this guy actually gained 2 inches. It's not going to change anything permanently until that fascia is hydrated. And so this is a big problem with our geriatrics. And a reason they get stiff and slouched and unable to get out of it with corrective exercises is the fascia isn't hydrated. And they don't like to drink because the bladder's shrunk. Well, the bladder's wrapped in fascia. So if we hydrate the fascia, the bladder, which has 3 big tendons looping around it, attaching into the pelvic floor, guess what else they get? Sore back, because it's all connected. Fascia's 3D, right? So you got to get your seniors to drink not only water, but fluid filled with electrolytes. All right? Crocodile breathing. That's when the diaphragm actually moves. I'm seeing a lot of this today. And the diaphragm doesn't move very well because I breathe up here. When you use the diaphragm, and you've got a liver and a kidney and organs in there, when you push that diaphragm down, the liver's and everything's gliding. When you breathe up here, it's only up here, nice and shallow, and this gets almost necrotized. It starts getting stuck together. And that abdominal wall, guess what? When you turn 40, it's going that way. You'll roof it. Okay? You need to crocodile breathe. And you need to reduce stress because fascia is intensely sensitive to hormones and to whatever's going on in your nervous system. So that also is regulated with your fascia. Anything that dehydrates you is dehydrating the fascia. Inflammatory foods, and you're all going to go home with a new word. Pendiculation. All that is stretching well out of gravity. When you lie in bed in the morning, you're going to decompress the joints, allow everything to find a new home by stretching before you get up and into gravity. And you can do postural assessments, and you can do hands-on fascial releases. You can assess your own posture. Look in the mirror and be honest. Is your head forward? Is your belly forward? Are you compressed here? Is your foot out? Is your bum out? You can look and find your own postural imbalances. Make your exercise fascially integrated. What we're seeing is the potential of fascia is going down and down and down with kids who don't move 7 hours a day. Kids who are meant to be frenetic, and if they don't, they lose their potential permanently. Permanently, because the fascia has no idea. The reason you and I are fit today is because we were crazy as kids. Our mother just kicked us out the door, right? See you in 10 hours.